it's Rogue and Copper of Beck's Fine Art. I'm Rebecca, the artist. I'm filming, and I'm actually holding a piece of cardboard to make the dog stare at me, so that's why Rogue is giving me these grumpy attitude eyes, and Copper is just being a little beggar. Anyways, welcome to part 2 of how to paint a really cool desert landscape on your Hydro Flask. Stop giving me so much attitude. In this video, I'll be going over how to paint the details, the desert details of it on here, which are not as hard as they may seem. Alright, so let's get started. Alright, so the first step in creating this desert landscape at the bottom is I'm going to be outlining where I want that to be. So I always use these chalk markers. You can see they are Craftsmart and they're water soluble, so if I make a mistake I can just wipe it off with a wet paper towel. But this is what I use when I'm doing more detailed scenes, just so I can outline things and know they're in the right places. So the first thing that I'll be doing is outlining the mountains, and then I'll pretty much be painting the whole base with one color. So I've got the mountains painted in. You can see I use this really pretty metallic color. So I'm also going to use another metallic color for the shadows. So these are both Arteza brands. So I've got Marmalade and Deep Brown. So what I'll be doing with the darker brown is blocking in the shadows. I'm not really doing the details yet. I'm just kind of outlining where the shadows are going to be. So now that I have the shadows blocked in, which you can see really help to start to bring out that 3D effect with the mountains, I'm going to mix some white with the original brown that I put down, and I'll be adding highlights to this side. So when I do the highlights, they are basically just sort of like little dashes and squiggly lines. Since this isn't a large scale painting, it's not necessary for it to be super precise because you will get that 3D effect pretty easily on a smaller scale. So I'm just kind of randomly dashing and adding these lighter areas wherever I think that the sun might be hitting it. And you know, you can always smudge the paint a little bit to get different effects, as well as paint over it if you don't end up liking an area. Alright, so I've got pretty much all the shadows and highlights done. I did a little bit of white just to really make the mountains pop, so hopefully it doesn't look too much like snow. I don't think I did enough to make it really look like snow. So next what I'm going to do is add some shadowing and a little bit of highlights to the ground. I'm not going to get crazy detailed with the ground just yet because I'll do that after I add the cactus in. So now that the shadowing and highlighting is done on the bottom, what I'm going to do is take my chalk marker again, and I'm going to outline where my bigger cactus are going to be. I don't need to do it for all of the smaller ones, but I want to get a good idea of where the biggest ones will be, because obviously those will be the most detailed and the ones that are closest to us. Next, I'm going to use this grass green to do a couple layers for the base coat of the cactus. So now I've got the base layer done on the cactus, even though it's a little bit see-through. Since I'm going to be doing so many layers with the highlights, it's really not going to matter that you can see a little bit through the darker layers. So what I've done is I've mixed up this green with a little bit of white, and I'll be now adding the strips to the cactus, and then I'll be going in again with another highlight over that. Alrighty, so here are the finished cactus. I may end up adding a little bit more detail to them, we'll see. But next what I'll be doing is those same greens in the ground for some bushes and just some extra greenery that'll help to fill in everything. So the last step of this bottle, since I got approval for it to be finished, is to add 1 or 2 layers of resin. It just depends on how the resin cures, if I need to add a second layer or not. You can see that I have it on a cup turner. This is super helpful to make sure that the resin cures evenly across and that I don't have to worry about drip, so it allows me to put resin on the base of it too. Alright guys, thanks so much for watching. Hope you enjoyed these cute little snippets of my dogs. You can tell that Rogue is very grumpy with me right now. Those are her grumpy eyes. And make sure you like and subscribe, and I will see you next time.